Look, I'm a science guy. As a medical student, I've always cherished and admired those who gave us the knowledge. I mean the scientists, the doctors, the physicians who dedicated their lives to contribute to medicine. But I think it's safe to say that some of these people maybe took it a little too far. So here we are, 3 crazy doctors, 3 crazy medical experiments. Subscribe for more. And this coffee tastes like... Some people wrote their names with a gold ink in the books of history, whether it's because of their novel discoveries or honorable ethics, but Leo Stanley was not one of them, okay? You see, Leo Stanley was a eugenicist. He believed that the unfit, unsuitable human beings, whether psychiatrically, physically, or genetically, shouldn't have the ability to have children. And fueled by his delusional theory of racial improvement, he performed, and listen to this, forced surgical sterilization of patients, usually black patients, with psychiatric disorders. Whether it's a ligation of the fallopian tube for women or a vasectomy for men, meaning the sealing of the ductus deferens, responsible for carrying the sperm from the testicle to the urethra, usually. It basically meant the permanent shutdown of one's reproductive system. Reminds you of something? But Stanley's shady activities didn't stop there. It went a little beyond that point. From 1930 to 1951, Stanley performed 15,000 procedures that included testicles, old white men, and goats. You see where I'm going with this? Initially, he took testicles of executed prisoners and transplanted them into old men, as he believed that the decrease of masculinity and the effects of age can be simply reversed by restoring the peak endocrine function of the testicles, meaning the testosterone production. What? But listen to this. As his chain of operations became bigger and bigger and more popular, the demand from old rich men increased, and the supply obviously wasn't sufficient. So, as any regular organ trafficking doctor would do, Leo Stanley began using animals' testicles. From goats to deers to bulls. Anyways, this story keeps getting nastier every time I dig into the details, so I'll make sure to link the full story in the description and you can read it by yourself. Next story. And before telling you about the second experiment, I need you to ask yourself a very important question, and that is, what are you? Can you simply be defined by your own consciousness, or is every single cell of your body a part of you? And if yes, does that include the totipotent embryonic stem cells? You know, the stem cells that first appeared in your mom's uterus that went out to ultimately develop into a full human being like yourself now. Well, it seems like researchers from Salk Institute in California didn't even bother to ask themselves these questions. You see how we keep coming back to California? Dr. Juan Carlos Espizua Bolmente, cool name, and his team of researchers successfully injected human stem cells into monkey embryos. And they watched these cells develop for 19 days. And hypothetically, by doing that, they created a hybrid of animal and human creature, sort of. And you would imagine that the trigger debate in this situation is whether it's okay to create in vitro humans to use them as slaves for the sake of medical research, or maybe even a more noble cause like life-saving organ transplantation. But the injected stem cells into the monkey embryo in its early embryonic stage might have developed into a fully shaped nervous system with its consciousness, human consciousness, and neurons. So I think it's safe to call these creatures humans. In fact, I think it needs to be considered unethical to call them otherwise. Whoa, stop the video. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure to press the like button and consider subscribing. That's all I'm asking. Thank you. Now, let's keep watching the video. And the winner of the prize of the most cruel doctor on this list is... Dr. Vladimir Demikhov, or Demikhov, like Russians say it. Here's the thing, guys, nothing makes me more sick to my stomach like human beings doing harm to innocent tiny animals. And don't get me wrong, guys, abusing adult human beings is equally as traumatizing. But the tiny innocent puppies are so adorable, who can't do anything wrong to them. Well, this guy did. In the name of science, Vladimir Demikhov naively thought he performed not one, not two, 24 head transplantation for dogs. The last one of them being in 1959, and it was actually the most popular one, and it even appeared on Life magazine. Talk about hypocrisy. For this surgery, Dr. Demikhov chose two subjects. One, a large stray German Shepherd that he named Brodyaga, and a smaller dog named Shavka. Brodyaga would be the host dog, and Shavka would supply the secondary head and neck. The vascular reconstruction was the main focus in this surgery, and after finishing watching this video, you may go ahead and Google his name and find out that he is a pioneer in organ transplantation. And I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that Dr. Demikhov added a true value to the scientific community. But I'm highly skeptical that these particular experiments had much of a value, if any at all, besides making these innocent creatures go through hell before dying on the 29th day post-surgery. So tell me in the comments, do you agree with head transplants? And if so, I have some good news for you, as this Italian neurosurgeon Sergio Canavero is actually planning to do a real-life human head transplantation in the near future in China. I mean, where else could you do such thing? If you guys enjoyed this video, wait until you see this one.